Today we have a topic, a serious topic. The 7 deadly web marketing mistakes that sink ships. Yes, these errors on your website are so significant that they can absolutely, sink a ship. If your business is dependent on web traffic and web sales, it could. These absolutely will cause surfers to surf away, you to get no traffic, all the things counter to the efforts that you're making. Listen up, it's important. Few companies, by the way, are outright committing all these errors. So as we go through this list of the 7 deadly web marketing mistakes that sink ships, pay attention and consider, because I'll be pointing out how some do it and how you should do it. Consider that you may be doing it, but you're not doing it effectively. And let me remind you, if you go into graduate school in business, a lot of the courses are titled, for instance, Effective Public Relations. The 3-word title of the whole course. It's not just public relations. It's public relations that's effective. So these 7 points we're hitting with you is all about bringing you up to the point of awareness where you can make them effective. So they do their job, so they keep you floating. And normally and always, of course, the only purpose that we're talking about these things is because effective is measured in, do we serve customers, our particular target market? Do we make revenues? Now, how you run your company, of course, is a situation which I hope you've got in order too. But we're talking right now just about getting revenues in the door. And we do a lot of stuff that in the old days wouldn't have been web. Nothing would have been web in the old days. But we do a lot of white papers. We do a lot of case studies, which are distributed different ways. But they all end up on the web. It's not specifically, quote unquote, a web sales letter or a web homepage or a web ad, but it's all relevant. Just about everything we do today ends up some way, some form on the web. All this applies, even though we're talking not so much about the copy as we write it right now. We're talking about the website as it delivers. You got to have your good copy. We work on that. But good copy with a lousy website that isn't getting listed, that isn't getting traffic, that won't get people to stay, is worthless. It doesn't matter how good the website is. It's like the old thing they always say in the copywriting arena, the headline has 80% of the value of an ad. Because no matter how sterling your copy is, no matter how persuasively you argue and how much proof you put and how big you build up the promise, the desire, the pictures, if you haven't got the attention of the right reader with the headline, all that is for naught. It's the same thing with your website. Your website is your headline to everything that follows. Think of it that's how it's important it is. And by the way, these errors and shortcomings are too common. You can't assume just because you've got a webmaster, just because someone's taking care of your website, that these things are done and done properly. Lamentably, it's a good thing in a lot of ways, but in the arena we're in, very often, lamentably, the people who are developing your website are specialists. They're specialists. Either they're a copywriter and they don't have the broader outlook and understanding or capacity, or they're an SEO technician. Now, the technician days essentially have eclipsed. It's still important, but it's not nearly what it was. It's a big topic, but a copywriter, SEO technician, or a webmaster, someone who understands HTML, someone who understands WordPress, someone who can make your site look good, someone who can give it the latest whiz-bang. A lot of things, since sliders, for instance, these fashions came because they were capacities that were developed. Users didn't like them, but they haven't caught on because they're still so enamored of flash and everything. You need a clean, efficient, good-looking site that has the proper tools that we're going to talk about so that people can do business so that people can understand what you're about, how you can help them. That's as complicated as it is. Anything else is clutter. So let's talk about what are those 7 deadly web marketing mistakes that sink ships. Those 7 are: 1, a slow loading website; 2, a site that is not efficiently mobile optimized; 3, a site that is not effectively optimized for search engines; 4, a site that has no opt-in device, no lead magnet, or a weak one; 5, a site that has no clear purpose, not only to the site itself, but to every page on the site; 6, an old-fashioned, gaudy, amateurish site; and 7, a no contact us page site. So let's get right into it. Number 1, a slow loading site. If you've got this, you're killer. And by the way, there's only a handful of hosts that can really help you. Hosting is one of them. You got to get the right host. But how you do your images, slow loading, over bloated images are killers. Too much CSS code, killers. Bad old-fashioned WordPress themes, killers. You've got to test your site. You've got to remedy your site. The things that I all mentioned, all those issues need to be addressed so that your site is fast. If it doesn't load in less than 3 seconds, there's stats that say 60 to 80% of people will surf away. 3 measly seconds. When we're measuring web speed, we measure it in the millisecond. Why? Because that's how important it is. If you got a slow loading website, unless people really need your stuff, they're not going to be there. And whoa, caution, if you're developing your website or looking at your website on your desktop, that's not the way the majority of people are doing it. What can be workable for a desktop, well, desktop is not standard. We have to develop for the mobile, because the mobile at this time is slower, is the lowest common denominator. That's what we have to develop for. If it's slow loading there, well, there's another thing. 2, not efficiently mobile optimized. If it's slow loading, your site is not efficiently mobile optimized. And it gets worse. SEO. It has to be efficiently mobile optimized, and that it loads fast, and that it looks good, and it is truly responsive. That's what a site means. When it's responsive, it'll go any size that you got, from desktop, notepad, down to your mobile, and everything in between. So, but I've never seen, let me put it this way, I've never seen a site that you can develop in one and it will be correct in all the others. Now, there's a lot of press out there. A lot of things are saying that their sites are responsive and don't tell you how to adjust it. If you get the right one, though, they will have special, easy to do mobile optimization in addition to your regular website development, desktop development. Your webmaster should know it. If they don't, you'd better be talking to them. So that you get this, and your speed, your SEO, look, now we're just getting down to the words. You got to have your site fast. It's got to look proper on mobile or it won't get listed. But it also has to have the right keywords. And we talk about developing a keyword tree. Now, in the old days, by the way, Google has affected how we do the English language on the web. In the old days, you would see things where they would have to use a specific keyword phrase. Today, they don't have to do that. However, they're still measuring a density of types. It's semantic keyword recognition. In other words, propellers and propeller shafts and propeller bushings and propeller packing, if you're talking about those things on a website, Google understands, this is what the page is about, just like anybody that overheard a conversation would. Google understands. And that's what you need. You need it in your title and your subtitles to be strategically. Your stuff, by the way, Your H1 tags, your H2 tags, these are read differently by Google too. This is, if that's code to you, let me put it, it has to do H1 is the most important, the title of the page. H2 is your major subheadings. Keywords in there, keywords throughout your text. Nothing exaggerated, normal, but it needs to be there. In your description, now your description serves a double role. Your description and your title is what's going to show up in the Google search results. Who, by the way, does 94 to 96, depending on which stat you hear. 94% of all search engine traffic on mobile is your Google, right? And 66% of all traffic that comes to your website is mobile. So it's important. But you've got your description. Now you've got your keywords on the page, and it's a good sounding article because you've got all the supporting stuff. But SEO is not enough. In the old days, it was just the keyword phrase. Remember, we keep going back to that. And you could spoof the engines. Today, they're actually smart enough, artificial intelligence, Google, where they're looking to go know three other things. Authority. Does your site have authority? Is it shared? Is it mentioned? Is it cited anywhere? Relevance, of course, we talked about the keywords, title, content. That's the old game. It's still important today, but today it has to be interesting, relevant, original. Interesting, relevant. Well, Google knows who's in the top 10, who's in the top 20, who's in the top 30. It's comparing yours with theirs. Length. Evaluate by what's working on the top page one, and then make yours the same way is the easiest way I can tell you. Google is comparing all things. Technology. Does your site have the proper site maps? Does it have the search engine friendly technical things that it's asking to have? All that relates. And there's another one, search engine optimization. Do you have video? See, video, it gets killer activity. Video is the most important activity measured by time on absolute mobile phones that happens right after, most important, right after checking the weather, right? So that's why it's checking the weather is kind of like living. Most important, watching video. People are watching video. People want video. Google, you've seen it. Google ranks engine or sites that have a video. They make it to the top. You want to get on the top? Have a video. You're fighting a hard battle. If you put a video, you're leapfrogging to the front. It's still a possibility. Put a video in because you've seen those little video thumbnails. Google, because they own YouTube, promotes it, right? By the way, that means it's good to host your videos at YouTube too. And you get the right thing, and you can keep them from showing other suggested videos at the end and that kind of thing. You get the right kind of plugins and devices to happen. But having a video brings you up to the top of the search engine listings. This is a good thing. Plus, get this. Your site is 44 times more likely to be clicked through and visited if you have a video. Not only being up top, which makes it much more likely, not only being on page one, which makes it much more likely, page two, you almost get lost, right? But having a video, the consumer likes it better too. So that's a search. In addition to making your site convert better, because ostensibly people like video and you've got something important to say, but in addition to that, it just makes it visible so you can get visitors there. Okay, the next thing, item number 4, killer web marketing mistake. Not having an opt-in device or a lead magnet. Look, your site is probably not set up, it's very doubtful in the marine B2B industry to make a sale on first visit. What you want to do is get the relationship started, get information funneling, answer questions, show how it works in your prospective customer's situation. Not having an opt-in device that is prominent, that is repeated, that is in several places, sidebar, pop-up on the screen, somewhere in the text, on all your blog posts, that allows the visitor to become a subscriber to you, to join your list, is a killer mistake, and a lot of sites still making it. But then a lot of sites are doing it inefficiently. They're just saying something like, join our mailing list. What's in it for me? The CTA, the call to action. What's important to me? Like, for instance, on this site, if you've got a website and you're in the marine business, you want to know the 7 deadly web marketing mistakes that sink ships. These are, in fact, big enough to sink your ship. Hey, if you're not SEO optimized, you're not getting traffic. Conversion's a whole nother thing. If you're not got a video, you're not putting nearly the horsepower behind your SEO optimization that you could to get traffic. Not counting that would also help your conversions. So you got traffic and conversions. And opt-in is what is the conversion that you want. If you don't have that, where are you at? If you don't have a way to get hold of these people, to give them promotions, to give them white papers, to communicate with them, to let them know about the show you're appearing at, build your credibility, to let them know about the case studies, the work that's done that's going to be similar. If you don't have a way to communicate and stay in their inbox, then you're a sinker. And inbox marketing, email marketing, the Direct Marketing Association. Now, you can't get any bigger than that. The Direct Marketing Association tells us that for every dollar spent on email marketing, there's a $38 return. 3,800% return. Why? Well, because once you get this set up, it's not like regular mail where you have printing, which is massive, and postage, which is massive. And by the way, you also got time, which can be an annoyance. You send it out, you get your orders in 7 days. What percentage of orders do you have in 10 days, 12 days? When does it drop off? And you can count it. With email, you pay the copywriter, whoever writes the email, whoever creates the offer, whoever creates the blog post, whatever it is. And that's essentially your only expense. Because you've got an opt-in where you've got these names segmented in a list, you just press send. 3,800% return. Whew. And by the way, even when a company does have an opt-in, like I said, it needs to be efficient. I mentioned having a good, enticing offer. That's what the lead magnet is. The giveaway, whether it's video, PDF, free session, audio, it could be anything, right? Mail out, But there's also the thing of, do you use the list? Just getting names, if you're not staying in contact, if you don't have someone dedicated to making sure good, persuasive, buyer-friendly emails are going out, then also you're not efficiently operating it. Okay, next point. Point number 5, no clear purpose or call to action, which we call the CTA. In our business, it's so commonly used, CTA, on every page. A call to action, CTA on every page. Every single page has a purpose. If you don't know what that is, or you just think it's just to have a business card up, you're naturally going to create a poor user experience, UX, user experience, a poor website, a site where people get in, get confused, don't know what to do next, so they leave. People don't have extra time today to handle your ineptness. And in the competitive environment you're in, they're accustomed to sites that are well developed by billion-dollar corporations. You're playing in the same sea, man. You've got to keep your boat by the same rules. Just because you've got a tanker, you've got NBC, you've got the New York Times that are running their websites, doesn't mean you don't have to follow the exact same rules, even if you're in a little speedboat or a fishing boat or a trawler, whatever you're in, you got the same rules to stay afloat and keep going, and the same standards judged by the market. Okay, another one. Point number 6 of the deadly web marketing mistakes that sink ships is having an old-fashioned, gaudy, amateurish site. Now, this is something that I shouldn't have to mention, but a lot of people, thought that they developed their site and it's done. Yeah, we've got a website. Let's assume that maybe it did look good, did operate good when it was developed in 2005. Folks, it's amazing how rapidly time gets away. There are fashions, there's trends. You need to think of this as a dynamic, ever-changing environment, just as your business is. You know your business is dynamic and changing. The way we market it, and specifically on the web, is dynamic also. And you have a gaudy, old-fashioned amateurish. Now, this is in addition to a slow-loading site, which will stop business, right? But people are going to surf away also. So even if you did get listed, by the way, you probably wouldn't because Google's smart enough to know that. But even if you did get listed, you did get click-through, you did get traffic, or you had a referral from somewhere else, people see that, they're going to... See, your website is your storefront. And you know what's clean, efficient, well-lighted, and organized. You know, versus something that, it needs a little love and care. There's a bit of deferred maintenance. They're using colors that don't work. It's never been washed. There's spider webs in the carpet that is just faded from the sun. It looks like that's what a lot of sites look like. Is it time for an update? And finally, number 7, no contact us, no about us page. Look, studies have shown us that the number one thing people are looking for when they come to your site is what products you offer, how they will help them. The number 2 is your contact information. They want to know that you're credible. They have a built-in skepticism for everybody on the web. As they should. It's just like walking downtown. As you should, right? There's a lot of scammers. Anybody can put up a site on the web. Can you be found? Are your sites there? Are your locations there? Do you have contact? At least a way to contact us with a contact form. Some people put email addresses, and you can now encode those so they're not picked up by spam bots that like to pick up that stuff and blast you with spam. So the question comes is, do you have it? And about us, they want to know who you are, your credibility. Are you worth following up with? See, not only can I find you, that's the location, phone, the email, but your about us. Tell us your story. People love stories. They want to know who you are. They want to know that you can trust you. People do business with friends. If you doubt that, check your own business Rolodex and see who you do business with and who you do repeat business with. Okay, that's it. That's in a brief nutshell. I gave you some very mighty points, but the thing is that these are all very serious errors that in fact can sink ships, do sink ships, and there's no excuse to have them on your website, and there's no excuse to have them done ineffectively and inefficiently. Spiff up your boat, man. Make sure it looks good. Polish it, wax it, give it that brilliance, make it appealing. That's what you want, just like you do with your boat. That's what you want with your website. So here we are, those 7 deadly web marketing mistakes that sink ships. They are: 1, a slow-loading website. 2, not efficiently optimized. 3, not optimized for search engines. 4, no opt-in device, no cool, attractive lead magnet. 5, no clear purpose on every page with a call to action that supports your objectives on every page. 6, an old-fashioned, gaudy, amateurish site. And number 7, no contact us page, no form, no about us page. Okay, that's it, friend. You now have full awareness of the 7 deadly web marketing mistakes that sink ships, that are fatal on the high seas we sail in the sea of commerce. And you, particularly as a marine dealer in whatever way you serve in the marine industry. Now it's up to you to install these systems and make sure they are installed and operating effectively so they do the job, get you the leads, traffic, and sales that you're looking for. All right, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Ted C. Yuba, marine copywriter. Come see us we got 2 websites, marinecopywriter.boats. That's marinecopywriter.boats. And for those of you who prefer the .com, we use marineb2bcopy.com. marineb2bcopy.com. Come see us for copy that floats your boat.